So welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is Conversations with the Crawleys. We have conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentaries on some of our favorite shows. This one is all about Ready to Love season 6, 7, 10, whatever, in Miami. So listen, if this is conversation that you enjoy, content that you like, hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications,
and share.
And we'll see you in the comments. And shout out to our one of our members, Michelle. What up, homegirl? If you want a shout out, you got to be a member. All right. So the ladies.
It's the ladies' turn.
The ladies' turn. It's ladies' night, and the feeling's right. Oh yes, it's ladies' night. Oh what a night.
Oh what a night.
All right. So the ladies are in the lounge. Meet Tommy. I'm the singer in this group here. Listen. All right. So Tommy's like, all right, your assignment this week, get the opinions of your friends.
Right.
Get your homegirls, get your sisters, your line sisters. Like everyone had a line sister. So get your line sisters and get the opinions. So Jamala is like, I'm going to meet with Randall. Mm-hmm. And she brings Randall over to her friend's house. Mm-hmm. Randall shows up.
In Randall style.
We just going to call it Randall style.
It's Randall style.
Rah-rah. Is that Southeast DC style?
That's that rah-rah style.
That joker. All right. But he's from DC. He's new to Miami. He played ball. We kind of found all that out.
Right. And he's a professional trainer in Miami.
Right. So friend asked, okay, how many other connections do you have? Because they at least understand the process, right? Mm-hmm. But how many other connections you got? And he's like, well, if you understand the process, I got 2 other connections.
I got some women.
He's like, but Jamala feels like his best friend. And she doesn't take it as being friend zone, right?
No, he's making very clear statements of where he feeling Jamala is in the process with him.
Right.
So he keeps saying he has these other connections, but it sounds like he's made up his decision from what I'm hearing. Now, if that's not the case, he's really putting on thick for Jamala, which I feel Jamala's falling for him hard.
She ain't falling. She done fell.
She done fell.
She done
I was like,
She is.
I'm in your arms.
She is sprung.
Rah-rah. I'm in your arms, rah-rah.
On Randall.
Rah-rah.
His mama named him Randall. I'm going to call him Randall.
Hey, but when you're friends like that, that's rah-rah.
Randall. All right. So friends are like, okay, they're cool with Randall. Mm-hmm. They're okay with him. Mm-hmm. Seems like probably could be a good fit for her is what her friends are saying. Mm-hmm. On the other side of Miami, Kadian has her line sister. I told y'all everybody had a line sister. Mm-hmm. Meet Swayze. And the friend is like, we're going to gut him like a fish.
I was like, okay, you pulling out the knife.
Starting off really, really aggressive already.
Ooh.
So, like, okay, are you on the apps? Yeah, I'm on the apps.
I'm single.
I've been
dating.
He's been dating single for 3 years. Mm-hmm. She asks, okay, what draws you to Kadian? He's like, well, look at her.
And she's like, what specifically?
She's like, okay, that's, looks, you
in Miami.
Go in and out, you in Miami. What's about her? It's like, well, he makes up a statement about, his type or whatever. Something about type.
And she's like, what is your type?
Right. So then we find out that for the past 3 years, he has been dating almost exclusively, actually exclusively is what we get the impression of, exclusively dating Latin women. So that brings up the question, so have you been doing that and avoiding black women completely? Or what's the deal? What's going on? Kadian says he's on the defensive. He's like, well, in some respects, he's being attacked.
It's the way they're saying it because he said, because she was like, so, you don't date black women. And he was like, I'm not saying that.
Right.
Because I almost got the impression he was like, I feel like he gave me the impression he's only been interested in black women. And since he's been out of his longest relationship, he decided to go outside of the box.
And expand his horizon.
Right. and expand his horizon. I think that's what he was trying to say.
Right.
But they got so much caught up. Oh, so you ain't dating black women and da 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 da. And then we're kind of like grilling that.
Right.
And not allowing him to really speak his truth.
So,
That's because I was like, I think he was saying the opposite, that he was being more open to different cultures and women than what he was previously dating.
And I get that, but I think that their sticking point is, if you want to expand, I don't know that they would have had an issue with that. But when you're expanding, his expansion really wasn't expansion; it was moving to a different neighborhood.
He's like, I'm just gonna.
He wasn't like knocking out a wall. He wasn't knocking out a wall and making more room. He just sold the house and went to another neighborhood. And it's like, that's where I want to be for these last 3 years.
I'm gonna move to this area.
So I kind of get what they're saying, but yes, they did take his words and twist them. They did take what he was saying and kind of blew it out without really giving the opportunity to explain himself. Now, on the flip side, because y'all know we try and keep it balanced here, he really wasn't doing that great of a job of explaining himself either. So
why he was interested in her.
Right.
And that's what started this whole conversation to begin with.
Yes.
And then also, I just feel like in this time and era, we are being more aware and fighting the narrative of black men not dating black women. Can I say that? It's like difference. Now they're making this seem like, oh, this is now the new red flag that black men are not dating black women.
I think it's always been there. I think that it's just because I dated around too before you and I met. Sorry. I did at the United Nations for a season, right? But I think the sticking point is the exclusively not black women. Mm-hmm. I think that's the issue. Mm-hmm. I think that, and there may be some that have an issue, and y'all let us know what your thoughts are, but there may be some that have an issue dating outside of your race, period. Which that's, in my opinion, just as wrong as the other end of the spectrum, right? But for him, I think the sticking point is that he was excluding
black women
completely, right? Because it's like if you're on the apps, there's all people, unless you're on Latin single, just like there is, there's black country, or whatever it is.
There's a country.
There's farmers.
We have farmers only.
Farmers only. So yeah, there's different, niches, if you will. Correct. Right? But if you're saying that this was your niche that you were sticking with, mm-hmm. I think that's their sticking point. So, all right. So basically, yeah, he's like, I ain't got time for this sucker stuff. I'm out.
And then he puts his sunglasses on the back of his head.
And he does give her hugs. He's like, I'll talk to you later, but I ain't going to do this no more. So, Trinika then goes with her friends. She's got a doctor and a pilot who are her friends. And first, LJ comes. And she brings out one of the friends. I think it was the doctor. No, it was the pilot.
Was it the pilot that came out with the index card?
Yeah, she pulls out the card. She's like, all right, question number 1.
Like literally.
Yeah. So he says that he's a protector, that's what he sees his role as, right? And then the question of where do you see yourself in 5 years? He's like, I'm a millionaire. I've got a great woman right next to me, all that stuff. She's like, okay. Then our boy Justice shows up. Justice gets asked the question, well, have you ever been disloyal? Yeah. Now, I
was a ball player.
Yeah. I appreciate his honesty. The ball player
doesn't make you
disloyal.
Right.
Right. But then she said, okay, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Nowhere. I don't make plans because God made plans for me. I'm Jeremiah 29:11.
Which the scripture is for, I know the plans that I have for you, right? Now,
but you got to know them, too. God can't be the only one that knows the plans.
Well,
right?
Also, can we just be honest? Y'all know I'm a kind of a stickler for the context. The context of that scripture ain't talking to you and I. It's talking to Israel. We take it and we co-opt it for everybody. But if we keep that to the context, it's talking about Israel. But yes, God does have a plan for you. But you got a part to play in the plan.
Right. You need to know what that plan is. How do you find that out from God?
You are not just going through the streams of life, and all of a sudden finding.
He's just guiding you without you knowing nothing about where you're going.
So
he says nothing. He
Absolutely.
says a lot of things that has no substance.
In the words of Run DMC, you talk too much and you never shut up. So yeah, he says it's all up to God. And this is where Justice is also at with this. He's like, I had a great conversation with her friends. We were getting deep. Justice evidently wasn't paying attention, or in the conversation that we saw. Maybe there was another conversation that we didn't get a chance to see. But in that conversation, if that was your idea of a great conversation, bro, you missed it.
Well, he says, he can be spiritual. He can be intellectual. He named all the things he could be in conversations.
Anybody can be those things. The question is, are you those things? Right? And then Randall shows up with Randall style. Listen, have y'all noticed how Randall always shows up
Randall
in
style.
he's Randall style, which is random. But he always shows up in like shorts and a t-shirt.
Like he's in training mode all the time.
Like maybe half his clothes are still in DC. Maybe that's what it is. And he living out his suitcase. I don't know, but it's like he always coming up with these jean shorts.
That's what a lot of people who are in sports and they're a trainer. But he needs to know how to change his attire for the event he's going to.
Very true.
And so for him, that's something he needs to work on. Like, okay, I've trained. I'm going to take a shower. And I'm going to put on something more casual and comfortable other than shorts and a tank top.
So Randall style.
Randall style.
So he does say that I'm sorry. I'm calling that boy Randall until after the reunion special. I will not call that boy by any other name. But
I was messing with you about it.
I know you do. So
Rara arrives in Randall style.
Yes.
And obviously, as the lady says, he talks very well. But they said they weren't falling for it, that Randall could be playing the field.
Yeah. Because even Justice looks and he's like, oh, Trinika got a connection with Randall. I'm feeling some kind of way now.
I'm no competition. I'm going to go ahead.
So in true Justice fashion,
wave my white flag. I surrender.
Justice rolls out.
You're like, bye, ladies.
So yeah, the ladies are like, Trinika's friends are like, okay, it's an absolute no on Justice. No questions about it. There's nothing redeeming about him as far as the ladies seem to be concerned. They're like, he is a BS or he's a trash talk or whatever. He's not good for you. They do, and they said he uses spirituality to get to women. I agree.
I'm like, wow.
I agree. They think that LJ won over the friends. They were like, we like LJ. LJ's a good guy. And like you said, they think Randall's playing those games.
Yeah, they feel like LJ really wants a committed relationship or looking for a relationship. Mm-hmm. They think Randall's playing the field a little bit because of the way he's answering those questions. Yeah, you got multiple connections, but I feel like Randall has what he has really in his mind, who he's really interested in.
I think he's hedging his bets in some respect. Mm-hmm. I think Jamala is his number one. Mm-hmm. But he's just kind of like, I need to at least play this game a little ways so I can keep in front of the other ones and keep them going along. So, and then Charisse meets up with her friend and Samson drops by. Samson's playing with the dog.
Samson does Samson things.
Samson doing Samson, right?
He's really kind of talking to the friend, and the friend is appreciating him because Samson, he presents well. Right. And he's saying that at this time, because of his age, he's ready to get married. Yeah. Again, we're not getting a lot of details of why that hasn't happened for him, because he presents well.
Yes.
And when someone presents well, you're like, where did it not happen?
Where's the disconnect?
Where's the disconnect?
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, if my friend was like, bring Samson, I'd be like, yeah, so I don't know if the ladies need to dig deeper, or I'd rather him open up like, ooh, okay, you need to tell me.
Yeah.
Really why you're not married. Did you just choose that I'm going to wait later in life to get married?
Right.
And this is, whatever you've done in your past or your work or what else was important to you.
He was in that previous relationship that he mentioned that was long term, but they mutually agreed to go their separate ways. So the question would be, what was it that caused you all to, it was long term, you all mutually agreed. So, and if by mutually you mean it just was like you wanted to pursue other people or what have you, what was it that was not enough for either one of you?
To decide that you want to make a long-term commitment into marriage.
So yeah, her friend, Charisse's friend, is like, Samson's the one. He's on point. He's ready to love. So,
and he's saying like within a year.
Yeah, he wants to be engaged within a year.
So that's pretty serious.
But Brandi meets up with her friend, and we've got Mike and Samson showing up.
I was really shocked. I'm like, wow. This is really coming out from left field.
Well, yeah, because they had the date, what was it, a week or two ago?
They did.
And I think it at least put Samson on her radar. Because, yes, she's been Mike from day one. Like,
oh, yeah, I'm talking about Samson.
And Brandi.
Feeling Brandi.
Well, yeah, now, yes.
That's what I'm referring to.
When they pop up, when Samson pops up, they go to hug, and it was a little awkward hug, and they kind of kissed on the lips.
Right.
Accidentally.
Right. I was like, was it an accident? It was just like, oop, oop,
yeah,
oop,
it was.
We're going to meet up.
But the friend is like, okay, what's going on here, da-da-da. And Samson is like, do you know that I'm attracted to you? And she's like, not really. So Samson comes correct. He's like, let me make it very clear, Brandi. I am feeling you. I want you. You are the... So he's like, let me make it very clear to you.
Yeah, because even Brandy's like, he's really on this brain tip. And so that gave me the impression with Brandi that she wasn't sending those brain vibes.
Right.
So, but she's like intrigued and interested, because again, there's nothing wrong with this man. I mean, there's nothing, again, that he's presenting.
You're laughing a little too hard with that.
I'm just saying.
There's nothing.
I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with him.
Nah,
from the outside.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyway, I'm not really worried though, because I could take him. Samson, I could take you. Simply put. All right. So
silly. What are you talking about?
Just saying. All right. So anyway, yeah, she says she feels Samson is trying to get into her mind and everything.
Right.
And then Mike comes in, and the question with Mike again comes up about him having kids. And he gives a, I could see that. But the just seemed really like, why you asking me this question? Because I really don't want to answer it.
I feel again, Mike's at a point where he don't want to have kids. Mm-hmm. I'm not really getting from Mike that he's looking for a long-term, I want to get married situation. It's just not coming across. Now, again, they're cutting film. I know they edit.
Agreed. Yeah.
So far, in what we're able to see, I'm not seeing him sharing that. Now, does he want to be in a relationship? Yes. Mm-hmm. Could it be something long-term? Yes. Mm-hmm. But him wanting to have kids and all that other stuff, I think he's done that. He has, 4?
3.
He has 3 kids already.
That Charisse called baggage, but go ahead.
Yeah, but, you have 3 kids already, and he's close to 50, right? How old is...
No, he's in early 40s, I think.
Is he in his early 40s?
I think he's early 40s.
Late 40s.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I can't remember at the point. I don't blame him. I'm in my late 40s and I don't want to have kids.
He's 42.
He's 42. So you're getting to a point where it's just like, do I want to have a teenager and I'm in my late 50s, early 60s, and go through that route again. And I think he needs to be very sincere and open.
He needs to be honest.
Because she's younger. Again, if you're younger and you're saying, I want to have babies,
right?
She's not getting any younger, then don't put her hopes up.
Yes.
And be like, another show we were on, you know, when one wanted kids and one didn't, and you're trying to work through that.
Yeah.
But.
So, the friend, though, is like, the friend was all aboard on Samson until Mike showed up. And there is that connection between Brandi and Mike. I just don't know. It to me, just my opinion, it feels like it's a physical attraction, connection, whereas Samson, I think, with Brandi, she mentioned, you know, he's more in the mind and the heart, and now she's discovering, he also physically is attracted, right? So Samson at least is presenting that he wants the full picture of who Brandi is. I don't necessarily know that I get that from Mike.
Right. And as a friend, she's probably looking at, I've always seen you with a Mike type.
Right. Or Mike is your ideal type of person.
Correct.
Yes.
So why it's hard for her, because she's finding that Samson can give her a little bit more than, you know, what she needs, but can't really express that because she's seen her with a Mike type.
Right. Yeah. Oh, we skipped did we talk about Kayla? No, we didn't talk about Kayla.
No.
So Kayla also goes on a date with her friend shows up. Randall and Mike show up. Randall again, cut off shorts and a t-shirt.
Randall style.
Kayla tells her friend that she can't ignore the connection with Mike. That she, yes, has a good connection with Randall, but she's like, there's something about Mike. Mike has problem understanding what Pinot Grigio is. So, but he's still trying to see what's going on with Kayla, but he tells her friend, but you know, her lips have been kind of on a few of the other guys, and he's like, I'm sitting in the lounge with those other guys, and I see her lips on their lips, and it throws him off.
He doesn't come off mature.
Agreed.
And if the women are more attractive because he's a tall,
dark guy,
masculine man, and they need to look beyond that.
Right.
I think every woman should look for depth, and I'm not seeing a lot of depth in Mike and what he's portraying and bringing forward.
And what he's bringing to the table.
You know, because like, how many stretch T-shirts can we wear too? If we want to talk. We want to talk about people's style, right? And how they wear and present itself. He always got to be in a tight shirt. And so, because if you're going to lead with that, and that's all you lead with,
right,
you're building who you are based off of your outer appearance, but you're not working on the inside to produce and give me more.
Right.
You know, talk about your business, because my understanding, he's an entrepreneur. He owns an appliance business. So why are we not seeing a lot more depth from him? Because there is more to him than his t-shirt or how tight it is, you know? So let's go deeper. So that's why I think the friend in this case for Kayla's like, no, you need a Randall so that when you need to have deep conversation and someone who's not going to always try to be funny and mature. And Mike is only going to give you funny, let's have a good time. But if we need to sit down with a glass of wine and talk about the seriousness of life, you may not get that from Mike. You're laughing at me.
I'm just like, yeah, I'm laughing. You're like, yeah. Ponder deep thoughts.
Just saying.
With some Pinot Grigio.
Right.
Yeah, because, you know, when Randall shows up, Mike is like, and see, these are the lips that her lips have been on. And so that's what's still throwing him off. And then Randall is like, because the friend asks, is Kayla your number one? And Randall's like, she's one of the ones because we haven't had time. Right. So he dodged it a little well, but he was like, we just haven't had time. and that we need more time. So the friend is like, Mike had no good answers. Mike just bluffed his way through this entire conversation. Randall at least came something, and the friend also pointed out that Randall during the conversation, during the date, was focused on Kayla. He was paying attention to Kayla. And she noticed that Kayla's attention was on Mike. She's like, that's the wrong one to have your attention on.
Because, like, as Mike talked about her being the video vixen, the same thing for her. Mm-hmm. We get into this fantasy thing about all the things that could be when you could actually have the thing that is.
Right.
And her feeling confused. I think she's feeling confused, and why we saw the tears is because what if I do decide I want to make Randall my choice, but then he decides he doesn't want me?
And it's also, if you're going outside of your comfort zone or going outside of what you're used to, that can be I don't want to say traumatic, but it can be a challenging experience, right?
Yeah.
And so somewhat, just realizing I'm going against what I've been conditioned, if you will, the direction I've been conditioned to go through my choices before. Yep. So Looney goes on a date. She's got her friend there. And then Justice and LJ are the ones that she goes out with. Mm-hmm. The friend just kind of jumps right to it. All right, so as far as sex, how long are you going to wait? Justice says, sex is different for me. I can have sex with just looking at you. Bam, we just had sex right there. Bam, there's a menage a trois right there.
I was like, you can have sex with me in your mind now. I get you lusting or fantasizing, but you just said sex for you is different and you can have sex with me in your mind. So you're telling me you can wait 90 days if I do the 90 days rule because you can have sex with me in your mind?
So basically what he's saying, he's been having sex every day.
That's not what he said.
He said he could have sex with his eyes, so more power to you, bro, if that's good enough for you. But
that's what I said. Then he can physically wait 90 days, but in his mind
he could wait 10 years. I mean, he could wait the rest of his life based on what he's saying.
He said it, not me.
Yeah, so let's see if he holds to that. LJ was like, because LJ came in a little late, and they kind of just threw that question to LJ. LJ's like, look, I'm an island boy.
He's like, I don't wait, man. We don't wait 90 days.
We ain't doing the 90 days. And Looney's like, I don't know if I can hold out 90 days either. So your friend asking a question that you ain't even going to be able to do. So.
Right. I'm like, okay.
So Looney is like, or LJ is like, Looney is at the top of his list. He's like, that's the one he's really feeling, but she ain't returning calls.
So she ain't feeling him.
Well, she says she's not a phone person, is what she says. It's interesting that the two people, because remember, Justice didn't get numbers until week 6.
That's true.
So the two people that don't know how to use the phone are hooking up and connecting. And according to Justice, they're having lots and lots of sex because he's looking at her.
That's not what he said. And not having a lot of sex because he's looking at her.
We don't know that.
Or looking at her and having sex.
We don't know that.
We don't want to put that out there. I'm just saying. And
if you're going to take that clip, take the whole clip where I said with his eyes. I'm not saying that, yeah.
So it's her saying ooh, Justin is the better fit for me than LJ.
Yes.
And the friend was like, Justice. And we're like, really? You gonna pick Justice?
Really?
So
you sure about that?
Because is Looney not ready to love? Is this for her to just meet somebody? Because I don't see Justice ready to love. But that could be just me.
Again, we just comment on the choices and comment.
This is stuff people say. They said this stuff. And we're just repeating what they say.
Yeah.
For the most part. I know
For the most part. All right. So the ladies go to the ladies' lounge, meet with Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy called, who was it? Was it Charisse?
Uh-huh.
Called her a cockroach.
He did not call her a cockroach.
He said la cucaracha, which is Spanish for cockroach. Now, no, he wasn't calling her. They got into that little song, but it's always interesting. But yes, cucaracha means cockroach. All right. So Brandi talks about how she's still leaning towards Mike. Kayla her friend says that Randall is better for her.
Rah-rah.
Jamala says her friends loved Randall.
Rah-rah.
Charisse feeling Samson. Looney is feeling Justice. Trinika is feeling LJ. And like Justice is not the one because, they talk about how, the friends weren't feeling him, what have you. And Kadian says, well, I'm feeling Swayze, but I don't want to bring up a red flag that I have about Swayze. So I'm not going to talk about it until I talk to him. Now, it's interesting that she'll do that for Swayze, but she'll blast out Shakira's stuff from the past few weeks.
Maybe she learned her lesson and she's grown in this experience.
Possible. And yes, we thank you to, I forgot who it was in the comments, hit us up to, because listen, I don't have time to watch everybody's Instagram and everybody's live from the cast. If I scroll past to see something, great. But it looks like Kadian and Swayze are just like, look, forget what the producers say. We're going to make everybody know that they're out there in the open now having their full-on relationship. That's what it seems like. Because there are some recent pictures of them canoodling. So they must have gotten over their red flag. Or she must have gotten over her red flag with him. But she's like, I'm not going to bring it up. Tommy's like, what are we talking about? She's like, I'm not going to bring it up. Charisse is like, I'll tell you what it is.
Now it's my turn. Since you asked messy with other people, let's be messy with you and see how you feel about it.
And so Charisse is like, he called me complaining about. So Katie is like, oh, he called you. Wait, what? He called. And so he gave the play-by-play. And so then Katie is like, okay, so now since it's out there, yeah, he hasn't dated black women in 3 years. He says he's on the app. And Looney's like, what? He hasn't dated black women in 3 years? So the ladies, of course, are in a kind of an uproar and conniption regarding that. So then Tommy's like, okay, I get what you're talking about, but he doesn't really address it too much, right? So then he's like, okay, ladies, who are we not feeling? So Looney's like, Swayze's not the one for her. Charisse is not feeling Mike. And she says that Justice only, reached out. Was it her? Somebody was like, Justice is only talking to me because Tommy told him to call somebody.
It's probably Brandi.
And a few of them were like, yeah, that sounds about right. That's exactly what's happening. I get calls now because Tommy said for him to call somebody. And Brandi saying that LJ is not the one for her. So then we're at our bottom two. And Kayla goes on a date with Justice. LJ meets up with Looney. Looney does a good job of at least kind of stringing him along. LJ's nervous because he's like, look, I know how this whole Ready to Love thing works.
Eliminated. Just tell me.
Y'all had Ladies Lounge last night, and now you're on a date with me. Somebody about to go home, and I hope it's not me. She does mention that some of the ladies felt that he has a friend vibe. And he's again saying, okay, that's great, but I'm interested in you, right? She does say, okay, well, you're ready to love. She lets him off the hook. Mm-hmm. On the other side of town, Kayla meets up with Justice, right? And they've never gone on a date before. And so she's like, first of all, what's my name?
Do you know my name?
Well, say my name.
He's like, I know your name, girl. Kayla.
And then he's like, well, I'm not up for chasing. He's up for choosing. He says a woman should set herself to be chosen. If y'all understand what that means, let us know in the comments.
I don't know how it's setting up more than you chasing. What's the difference?
I
don't.
What does it mean to be set up to be chosen? Right.
I mean,
because.
Well, he could be saying that you're being open, you're not being closed off, is that what he's saying? I don't know, because it's like, are you saying that some women are closed off, and then you have to be a woman that's going to be open to receive, but his advances?
How can you know who's open to being chosen when you don't have anybody's phone number?
Babe, I have no clue.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. I'm throwing stuff out in the air. See if they catch.
That's how he talks. He just throws words together and tries to make full sentences and thoughts out of them. Because it's like,
he said something, and I was like, "What?" A double negative. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing? Just stop.
Like,
you're an event planner. I just want to see him work. How organized and how well he puts stuff together.
So Kayla gives some feedback about him being evasive and talking around things. He's like, here's the point right here.
I'm gonna go around the block.
All the way around it.
I'm gonna take a walk around the block.
She's like, okay, by the way, you going home. You done.
I'm tired of hearing about you. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna leave. You can stay. I'm going to leave.
And then he's like, all right, so I'm at the Hard Rock every weekend. Make sure you stop through. She's like, nope. Not going to happen. So, yeah, Justice is gone. He's actually stuck around a lot longer than I thought he would.
I thought so, too.
Because I was sure he was gone, like, earlier.
Yeah,
earlier.
I thought he was going to be gone earlier, but hey, that's what it is.
So, next week, the power shifts to the fellas, and the fellas are bringing their truth tellers. Some of them bring the wrong truth teller, because was it Randall or who was it?
No, it was LJ.
LJ brought in the trailer. You'll see it, but LJ brought his ex-girlfriend, and whoever they were on the date with asked, "Okay,
we'll talk about it
when's the last time y'all had sex?"
Let's talk about that episode when it happens.
And not with just your eyes.
And not with just your eyes. Yeah, we're going to leave that cliffhanger.
Yeah. So, look, y'all let us know what y'all thought. Let us know what we might have missed. But we'll see y'all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.